All right. I'm recording again.
Good morning, sir. How you doing, Fenton? How's everything?
I'm doing well. Last time I asked you how you were doing and you didn't answer. You just went right into the intro. Like, okay.
I have selective hearing.
It's fine. Welcome, everyone, to Products of Circumstance. This is the new podcast with Ken Skeen. Over there, I'm pointing to him. And myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. And we cover topics like family, relationship trauma, relationships with money, self-worth, positive thinking, gratefulness, and so much more. The show is unscripted, unfiltered, and mostly unedited. And if you're not familiar, Ken is going to throw out the topic of the day. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, and that just keeps things interesting. So we're going to get into it, but before we do, please make sure to subscribe and like and turn on notifications so that you can get a new episode in your inbox or text message or push. However you get your notifications, we want to let you know that we're here talking again next week. And I'm sick, so I'm still doing it.
Yeah, my allergies are kicking my butt right now.
Yeah, there's all types of issues right now. So, what are we talking about?
All right, so topic of the day, a little discussion I had with some of my coworkers actually yesterday was taking different paths in life. So going down different paths in the sense of you don't know what you want to do, what you want your career to be, doesn't have to be so confined. Why not try different things, go down different paths so that you can try to figure out what your interests, what your passions are, things like that. How would you know what you want to do if you don't try different things?
How would you know?
So, how would you know? I don't know. Yeah, so we were speaking about, starting off when you're a kid, you mowed lawns maybe, or you had a paper route, or you were part of like me, I was part of the family business. My dad would take us to construction sites. So I was able to learn how to read blueprints when I was, 14 years old.
Nice.
He taught us how to demo correctly. People think demolition is just taking a jackhammer to everything. It's really not.
It's not HGTV? It's not.
No, it is not.
Demo day!
It's demo day!
Everything's in slow motion?
We did commercial work, so it wasn't wood studs, it was metal studs.
Right.
And taking off sheetrock and how to clean correctly. Anyway, the point is, that was one thing I tried that I actually ended up loving and having a passion for was construction. Right. Just rebuilding something and seeing it the finished product to say, wow, look what I made with my hands. Yeah. But I've also tried, went to school, went to college for graphic design, graduated BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts. I know you forget that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I still do paint, stress relief. It's good stuff. I've also done sales. I've been doing sales now for 12 years. I've tried a couple other different things growing up, but it was good because I got to experience different aspects of careers in life that I was able to see, all right, do I like this? Do I not like it? What about it do I like? Can I take that and transition it to another career, which is also a good aspect. So I feel like, growing up, you hear parents telling their children, you must go to college when you graduate. Yeah, a lot of kids don't even know what they want to do.
Yeah.
You have people in their 20s and 30s, Fenton, 20s and 30s and 40s that say, I don't have a passion of what I'm doing. I really don't know what I want to do. So how are you going to expect an 18-year-old, the average 18-year-old to know what they really want to do and just shove them off and say, yeah, go to college for 4 years and, waste your time, which I feel is more important than the money that's wasted.
Right.
And again, I'm not speaking for the people that know what they want to do. I'm not speaking for the doctor, the nurse, the lawyer, For you, for instance, you started your graphic design company. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the people.
I didn't know what I wanted.
I'm speaking of the person that really does not know what they want. Why not try different things? Why not go down different paths? The worst thing that happens is you realize you don't like it.
Right.
But maybe you can take something that you've learned and put that towards the next thing you try.
Yeah. Well, Ken, I want to thank you for inviting me on the show today I might be the perfect person to speak to because I've never known what I wanted to do. And truth be told, to this day, I still don't know what I want to do. Okay, I walk it back just one aspect. Music has always been a constant in my life.
Right.
I've always wanted to make music. I didn't know in what form, the career was going to take shape. But as long as it involves music, I'm a happy camper. Everything else, I have no clue. I don't know what to tell you. I think I wanted to be an attorney or a lawyer when I was a kid. And my mom always said that I argue. She said, you argue so much, and you're good at forming arguments, Fenton, so maybe you should be an attorney. Clearly, that didn't pan out, although, I've thought about going back to school for that. I also thought about being a psychiatrist. No, a psychologist. And I thought that was interesting. Who'd have thunk I turned out to be a psychologist? Totally unlicensed and self-taught, but, I'm a therapist to many. But yeah, other than those two things, which were like childhood dreams, it was really just music. And everything else along the way was stuff that I did to fund my musical endeavors. Because as with everyone who's a creative, you tend to be like a struggling, kind of artist. My friends were going to school for amazing things. I have some really cool friends that have done incredible things with their lives. And they followed some fairly clear-cut paths to get there. And I always felt, while this one was off at, Harvard, it's not Harvard, it's Yale. Okay, inside joke. I have a friend, one of my best friends, his name is Daryl. Shout out to Daryl. And we're sitting at dinner, and I said, hey, man, how's things been? How's Harvard? He's like, it's Yale. Fenton. Yale. I'm like, aren't they both in the Northeast? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Harvard, Yale, whatever. Anyway, it was cool to see him and my other friends do great things and hit those marks. You know what I'm saying? Where you could see that progress. Okay, I got my bachelor's. I got my master's. I got this certification and this license, and I'm interning here and I'm doing these things. And in your 20s, there's certain milestones. And then for me, and I'm sure for a lot of creatives, there's no milestones because there's no roadmap. And I think, to the point of trying different paths in life, you kind of just have to be self-motivated to go and create your own milestones. I had to figure out, all right, well, I know I need equipment. If I want to be a music producer, I need equipment. So we bought keyboards and we bought, MIDI controllers, and we bought CD players to rip the CDs so that we could take them to meetings and play them and stuff at the labels. Excuse me. And so we knew that there were certain things that we need to have. But beyond that, it was I don't know, what did this other music producer do? What did Timbaland do? What was Timbaland's story? How did he get on? How did Swiss Beats get on? This one bum rushed the label and stood outside handing CDs, you know what I'm saying? So we would go to record labels and music studios and stand outside with CDs because that's what our favorite producers said that they did growing up. And it was madness. And I'm going to bring it back because I want to stay on track here. We're talking about taking different paths in life. How do you know what it is that you want to do? Again, it took money to buy keyboards and buy CD players and CDs and take the train to get there. So we had to do something. I had to work. So we just tried different jobs. You know what I'm saying? Whoever was hiring. I worked at 1-800-Flowers. If you remember Jim McCann, the guy with the white hair, he's had white hair forever. He used to be on the floor at the office with a handy vac vacuuming. I mean, I'm sure he can afford an actual vacuum, but this CEO of the company would be on the floor with a handy vac. And I did that for a while. I did sales. I did customer service. I worked at Chase Bank as a customer service person when I was a kid. They would get on the bus and go to Chase Bank customer service headquarters as a kid in high school.
Right.
It was an apprenticeship. I know I sound crazy because sorry, forgive me. But I will say, doing those little jobs as I was growing up, it actually gave me an edge because the school that I went to had this apprenticeship program. Both those jobs I got through the apprenticeship program. So at 15, 16, I already started to develop a resume. So even though I had no idea what I wanted to do, okay, catch where I'm going.
Right.
I was trying different things and I was building a resume of experience. And so I was able to say I'd spent 3 years doing customer service and doing sales and being on the telephone and learning banking. Because at the apprenticeship program through Chase Bank, we got the same new employee training at Chase that adults got, even though we were just kids. So now I understand banking and I'm beginning to understand finance and financial products and services. I was able to build on that. So when it was time for me to get the next job, I had a resume already. So my point is that just by seeing what worked and what paid so that I could focus on other things that I wanted to do, I was able to, start to get a resume together. And that, of course, led to, being in the mortgage industry. I'm just going to list off some stuff now. Is that cool?
No, go right ahead, man. But that's the point.
I should pull up my LinkedIn page. I want everybody to take a moment and look me up on LinkedIn. Fenton Joseph, Fenton Joseph. And I want you to see all these different jobs that I've had. That's maybe 60% of all the jobs that I've had. So at the mortgage company, I was director of corporate communications. I was a client relations manager. I was a senior quality assurance analyst. I did title. I did sales. Just within one company, I did like 4 or 5 different jobs, just trying different things, right? I've worked as a waiter. Okay, I got laid off from a job in advertising and I had to figure out how to pay for this wedding because I was engaged at the time and then I got laid off. I couldn't get a job for 9 months. I started working as a waiter, right? Never been a waiter before, but it paid something. It wasn't a lot, but it helped. And I ended up working at 2 different places. So I worked at a catering hall that did weddings, and then I worked as a waiter at a fine dining establishment, Milestones in Manhattan. I worked at the one in Long Island, but Milestones in Manhattan. Very, very lovely place. I learned that I do not ever want to be a waiter ever again. And I will do whatever it takes to be to be so successful that I will never have to wait tables ever again. It was horrible. I hated it. I'm a little blurry. But I also learned a lot about myself in that moment, because you really got to dig it. First of all, waiters are not dumb people. Waiters don't get the respect probably that they deserve. Like, it's a low.
I agree with
job. You got to be quick on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, to stand there at a table, remember everyone's order without writing it down. You know, who ordered what. This person needs ketchup at this table and you're doing this, 2 other tables over here, and remember everything and be on top of it. Like, these were some of the brightest people that I've ever met. And a lot of them were, college kids who were doing amazing programs, like on their way to doing incredible things. And as an older person, who had already been working, for me to get thrown into that, it taught me a lot about myself and what I was willing to do. It pushed me, so I thank God for that opportunity to be in that position to really grind it out, and work for my tips and all that other stuff. Truth is, bro, you can, on the path, different paths that we take in life to get where we're going, like, you could end up being really lazy and complacent, and me, we both feel strongly about this. We're not knocking the 9-to-5 life. We're absolutely not. I do want to say this, though. I think it's very easy to become complacent and maybe not work as hard as you probably should be working when you know that there's a check coming every week, every 2 weeks. And I feel that way because I've worked both as an entrepreneur and as a 9-to-5er. And yeah, I was definitely more likely to slag off when I knew, all right, if I don't hit this metric, if I don't do this thing, if I take an extra long lunch, whatever, like, I'm still getting paid. I got to make my own money right now. And if I'm not killing it, crushing it every single day, like, I'm not eating, and neither is my family. And that's not even true, because because the Lord has blessed my wife, with an incredible job, and we do just fine. But my point is that I know that I'm not bringing in any revenue if I'm not working, and so I want to make sure we keep coming back, taking different paths. How do you know what you want to do? How do you find new things? To your point, and I'll toss it back to you because my nose is about to explode. I think that for me, taking all those different experiences in life, all the way back from 1-800-Flowers and being in customer service, because my web design business today, owning a web design agency, it's all about service, right? It's all about people understanding what they need, meeting that need, exceeding their expectations, delighting people. My experience in owning a business goes all the way back to when I was 15 years old and started to learn about customer service and sales. And it has everything to do with being in the advertising world as a project manager and a senior project manager, and understanding how to manage vendors and develop scopes and budgets. Everything that I've done that I just kind of either threw myself into or fell into has had an impact on where I am today. And it's hilarious to me when people say like, oh, Fenton, like, you are where you are. I want to be like you. How'd you get there? I'm like, I really can't tell you. Like, I have so many random experiences and jobs on my resume that were helpful in me getting to where I am today that I never could have put it together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to you got to just try, and don't be afraid. Like you said, and I know I keep talking. Like you said, time is more important than anything else. If you don't spend the time trying something like now, like that's just a wasted opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have spent your 20s trying and doing 10 different jobs, but maybe you wasted that time, and now you're 30 and now you're not sure about what you want to do. Like, if you're young, spend those 20-year-old, from 20 to 30, getting exposed to as many different opportunities as you possibly can. And then you can figure out, like you said, what I like, what I don't like. Right. And then you get into a place where it's like, oh, I get to do what makes me happy. Like, you don't just fall into that where you just get to do it. You got to pay your dues, and that's trying different things and spending a year here or 2 years there and seeing what works. I'm rambling a bit. I'm gonna hand it over to you.
No. Look, like you were saying, you're trying different things, especially when you're younger. It's a lot easier. And people may say, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's easier if you don't have to worry about taking care of a family. If you're not worried about paying all these, real life bills, not, oh, I pay my cell phone. I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying it's easier if the only responsibility you have is yourself, which is usually when you're younger. Mm-hmm. Maybe not everyone. Yes, some people start families younger, or they're in different situations. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the masses. The masses have their 20s to really explore who they are, right, what they love, what they passion for, things like that. You also mentioned, growing up, going through different things, working at the bank, working as a waiter, working as, going into production because you loved music. But you took aspects. So you took aspects of what you've learned in different careers or jobs, whatever you want to call it, and you took that and it helped mold you to who you are now running your company. Mm-hmm. So I think that's great for the younger, even, you could be in your 30s. It doesn't matter. But if you're able to try different paths out and help mold what you want to become or what you're leading towards, it doesn't have to be one thing either. You can be an entrepreneur. You could have 4 different companies open. I had a t-shirt company once. I did it because, all right, so I was home. I do graphic design as well. It's on the side. Not everyone knows that. And I was just doing some digital art. My wife's uncle and his wife were over. They saw a picture I was doing and said, wow, that would look cool on a t-shirt. Right. So I started Code 13 Apparel. I remember now. It wasn't crazy. I ended up in 4 stores, but I did it literally because someone said that would look cool on a t-shirt. And I just kind of want to see if I could do it or not. That was it. No No worried about failing. I'm like, failing who? If it fails, so what?
Right.
You know,
I forgot
but
about
it
that.
taught, yeah. I just, I went to different stores. I said, hey, when to put this on your shelves? Of course, I put a bigger pitch than that, but it was something I got to experience. It was open for 2 years, and I had to shut it down because I had no time, because I moved on to something else. I wasn't passionate about it, but I got to try something and learn ins and outs of starting a clothing brand. It's just something else that I was able to do to teach me something I could take with me in my sales position that I have now. I've been doing sales for 12 years in car sales. Things I've learned running a construction company in my 20s and being a project supervisor in Manhattan on multi-million-dollar projects. I took that and used it with my career now as well. I'm able to speak to different kinds of people and keep conversation going, whether you be a teacher, a doctor, a police officer, a graphic designer, a construction worker. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm able to talk to different people also because I've tried different things. I can say, well, oh yeah, I may not know a lot about it, but I used to. And it does help with conversation as well to move you along. That's why it's very important. Like Fenton was saying, when you're in your late teens and your 20s, the 20 to 30-year-olds, don't be afraid to try something for a year or two and then say, you know what? I like it. I don't like it. Let me see a different aspect of it. You can be at one organization and try different hats. All right. So I'll use car sales because that's what I do right now. Right.
Yep.
So you can go in car sales, become a salesperson, and then you could try, working in service as a service writer, or the BDC, the business development centers, where you're taking the phone calls and talking to clients to get them in, setting appointments, which will help you to become, let's say you want to try finance. You become sales. Your folders are always tight. You're good at talking to people. You're good at holding gross. Try finance. Then you can try sales management. But there's just different aspects in that one career that you can learn different things and use them as tools towards something maybe you do 10 years from now that has nothing to do with sales.
So good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this. We're doing a podcast, right?
Right.
And I, through the years, have learned to talk less, not right now, but talk less and listen more. But by doing that, I was able to hear people's stories. And I'm not, so like you said earlier, self-proclaimed therapist. Look, I am not licensed in any way, but I can let you know things that I've gone through or people have explained to me that they've gone through where they were taught lessons. Right. I know failure or fail triggers you, so I don't
not today.
Not today. But they can use those lessons that I've learned. Not to say they can't fail or they shouldn't fail at what they're doing to learn a lesson. All right. When I say fail, learning lessons in life, but maybe it'll help them say, oh, wait, Ken brought this up. I see where I'm going with it. Maybe I should go this way. Right. And listen, a smooth road is boring, right? When you're traveling down a smooth road, bumpy road, you pay more attention.
I mean, I like
you got to grab
roads, Ken.
Yeah, I love smooth roads too when you want to drive fast, but I'm more of an off-road Jeep kind of guy.
Okay.
I want some bumpy roads. Bumpy roads are going to teach you some lessons.
Right.
A smooth road, everything's paved out smoothly for you. What lesson are you really learning?
You 100% right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're 100% right. You know what? Really quickly, just on that, I've had way more fun with my bumpy road. People have to understand, life is hard. It's not easy. And even all my friends that have, taken less circuitous routes, to their destinations where they are today, and they're still on a destination because no one, stays where they are ultimately. They've had their challenges too. It's important for people to know that there isn't a path that you're going to take that's going to be an easy path. There really isn't an easy path. Everyone has to do the work. You got to get that degree. You got to get that secondary, that master's. You got to get that PhD. You have to pass. You have to study. Like, it's hard no matter what. So you might as well try to accumulate as much knowledge and as much experience and as much wisdom, and overcome as many challenges. You might as well actually throw yourself because the trouble is going to come. It's going to come and find you regardless, You might as well throw yourself out there, put your hat in the ring and get after it, before it comes after you. Because, if you sit around in life and don't take initiative, the responsibilities don't go away. At some point, you're going to have to make some money just to survive and take care of your family. And then you're going to have to deal with the whole process, and figure out, well, do I like this or do I like that? You make a really good point. When you're older and you have a family, it's a lot harder to take that risk because you can't be out there switching horses in the middle of the stream every year just because you don't like the way this thing is going. Like, then you really have to be concerned with consistency, staying in one place, getting the job with the benefits and things like that. There's very practical considerations. When you're young, you can bounce around, man, left and right. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you're living with your parents or not. You have 3 roommates and you're just getting by, whatever. Like, those are amazing times, to do it. And you have the energy. I'm 41. I'm not an old man. I'm still a young man. It helps when I get to bed a little earlier, though. I'm just keeping it real. I get a little more tired. The kid runs me ragged. It's challenging. Anyway, I want to get into some practical stuff. So we're talking about taking different paths in life. How can we actually figure out what's the right way to go? Is there a wrong way to go? I'm just going to throw this out. Find people in your life that you respect and admire and ask them about their experiences. Ask them about their journey. Take them out to coffee, or if you're broke, you can't afford coffee. Invite them over, pour them a cup of water, make sure there's some ice in it, and ask them, hey, Uncle such and such, Auntie so and so, Grandma, Dad, whoever. How did you get there? How did you get where you are? You're an attorney. You're a bus driver. You're a tech at a hospital. Whatever you do, do you like it? Maybe there's somebody in your life that does something that you might enjoy doing, but you don't know anything about it. Just ask. We've all got our sphere of influence, that circle of people in proximity to us. Ask people. Start asking. One of the greatest things that happened for me during the pandemic was I had made a commitment to meet people every week. I'd actually made that commitment in 2019. And I went on Zoom, when the pandemic started, and I kept at it. And wow, have I grown in just empathy, just learning people's stories and learning about their journey. A new person every week I committed to meeting with. And I meet so many people, and it's so interesting to hear their stories and the paths that they took and those pivot points, because we talked about, everyone has a plan till you get punched in the face. And, sometimes you got to pivot. Now I'm going to say that again. Every time you're going to have to pivot. I don't know a single person that hasn't had a pivot point in their life where they had to end up taking a different path or slightly alter the path that they were on.
Right. And
again, that means that there's so many people around you, you can ask them what their experience has been like. Hey, I learned that, my cousin tried this and they hated it. But there was something about their story that they said, they hated it, but that actually sounds like something I'd really be interested in doing. So talk to people. When you're in a situation and let's say you take up a new job, it's not something that you necessarily loved, but you had to pay the bills. Talk to people in the organization. Right. You mentioned, hey, there's sales, there's marketing, there's human resources, there's manufacturing, there's the tech people, there's all different aspects of a business. Go talk to people in other departments. Don't just hang around with your own folks, because you might come across somebody who's doing something that you actually might enjoy. Or like what happened with me you might meet somebody that sees a quality in you and says, hey, Fenton, have you thought about?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not you that's going to be the one to identify a thing that you might be good at or that you might enjoy. Somebody else might see it, but you got to get out of your bubble, right? Last week, the week before, we talked about comfort zones, getting out of your comfort zone.
Right.
One of the comfort zones that people tend to stay in is on their job or in their school or wherever they are in their little circle. They stay right there with those same people and they don't go and meet other people. I'm telling you, meeting new people is one of the greatest tools. It's one of the best things you can do with your time, is to just meet people that you don't know. And I'll say this, people want to share. They want to share. Everyone
Absolutely.
loves to talk, Ken. Look at us. We're on a podcast talking. Can't shut up. We like talking so much. We said we should record it so other people can listen to us talk because they'll love it. Right? The human ego is crazy. Ask somebody a question and watch them tell you everything about it, about their experience, about their life. They want to share, but nobody ever asks. But that's the information that you can use. Really quickly, I just want to point out that, because you pointed out that you had the T-shirt company, the Code 13, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
It's funny, right? Forgot. But wasn't it a big deal at the time? Weren't you invested? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like you threw yourself into it. And I remember the passion behind it and, the cultural importance of it. And I think people can be afraid to invest themselves emotionally and their resources into something that they're not sure if that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. It really is about the journey and not the destination.
That's correct.
Be present.
That's
Throw
correct.
yourself into it. Don't be afraid to waste your time. And what if it doesn't work out? Blah, blah. Who cares? Act as if this is the only thing that you have going on in your whole life. I was a DJ for a while. Nobody remembers that I used to DJ.
I don't.
Did I have fun doing it and, learn so much? Yeah, I had a hold music company. It was called Interim Audio because I'm so clever. I had a magazine, a fashion magazine when I was a lot younger. And, we were trying to do like it was actually just a ploy to get women, but it was like I wasn't a legit business, but I did that. And of course I started Ronin Applied Sciences with my best friend. And that's the world's first Black-owned microphone company, something that I will be forever proud of to be involved in. Do I still build microphones? No. But you know what? At the time, that was the greatest thing ever, man. Like, we were two young Black kids totally disrupting the microphone industry that's totally dominated by older white men. And it was amazing to be the only Black exhibitors at Jacob Javits.
That's cool.
We walked around, we had our exhibitor badges, and people were like, who are these guys? Because the only other Black people that were there were the ones helping to set up or take out the garbage, and we were able to like have a cultural impact on an industry just because we gave it a shot. And he, Dimitri, of course, is still doing amazing things in the pro audio world. Shout out to him and his partner, Dev, and all the beautiful people at Ex Machina Soundworks in Brooklyn. And like that even what he's doing today came out of what he and I built together, which was just taking a crack at it and seeing, hey, can we build a better microphone?
And you did.
And
I'm still waiting for mine.
And, we'll figure that out. We'll make it work. We need lots of people to subscribe and share and like, and then we get these brand deals and I'll build you one. But yeah, it's like I've forgotten some things that I've even done in the past, but at the time I was so committed. I was 200% in, and now they're amazing building blocks and, chapters of an amazing story of my life.
That's great. You know what? How you're saying you forgot certain things. Not that I forgot, but not to cut you off. Sorry. No, you talk about Jacob Javits Center. Yeah, my wife and I have, as we mentioned in the previous episodes, a company called Skeen Concepts. That's the umbrella company, of course. We also have Skeen Concepts Woodworks, that built that beautiful wood stand that you use.
Isn't it lovely?
amongst other things. But we have a mentor that we consider a close friend. Her name is Leslie Short. Shout out to Leslie. Shout out to Cavo Group. You can check her out also. CAVU, Cavo Group. Leslie invited us to it was a thing at the Javits Center for interior designers and furniture makers. And we got to wear our badge at Skeen Concepts LLC and interior designers and
Nice.
and sales and marketing. And we got to check it out. We're like, wow, that was a big step for us. But again, just trying different paths. My years in construction, yes, it was commercial, brought us to the point of we're doing residential and commercial woodworks, tables made from mahogany and oak slabs. Mm-hmm. But I used my past experience to do what we're doing now with that side business we have. And Tiff, my wife, she went to school for psychology, criminal psychology. She uses some aspects of that for our marketing. So it's just crazy, like you said before, how you can use different aspects of the paths you've taken in life to what you're going to do now, or another venture, or another business, whatever you may want to do.
Right.
You can use what you've learned and apply it to something else later on. Yeah. But I just want to bring that up also. That was pretty incredible. Pretty dope part of our lives. Yeah.
I know that you all were rocking with Damon John, and through that relationship. And it's like, you never know who you're going to meet or what's going to come up. I have a good friend and a mentor that I met while I was waiting tables at the wedding venue place. That was a rough time for me because, like I said, I was working as a brand manager at a finance startup and I got laid off. And then next thing I know, I'm waiting tables with high school kids. I had a beard, I had to shave my beard and everything. I mean, it was crazy. I was like making $7, $8 an hour or something like that. No tips, mind you. This was just, straight a couple bucks an hour. Right. I was engaged. I'm a grown man. So that's the next thing. Your ego, put it to the side. You can't let your ego stop you from taking opportunities because you don't know what's going to come of it. Right. If you have an opportunity to get in at the ground floor of something, it's not the most glamorous work, whatever. Take it. You don't know where it's going to... Look, the reality is if you had a better opportunity, you would have taken it. Right?
You would hope.
Let's not play ourselves. If you have it all together and the market is chasing you, you're going to know. Okay, the job offers are going to come. The opportunities for your business are going to come. Sometimes you have to go and make opportunities, and sometimes you have to take whatever opportunity comes and know in the back of your mind, no, in the front of your mind at all times, that this is not where you're going to be forever. It's temporary. It's a stepping stone. But some people's egos won't allow them to take that opportunity, to take that entry-level position. Because they're busy thinking about, well, my friends are doing this and they're doing big things, or what's my family going to think, or how's it going to look, right? We talked about that in the other episode, grand opening, right? Nah. Everything doesn't have to be broadcast to the world and made to be seen so glamorous. I took the job as a waiter. I poured water for people. I cleared their forks and their knives and took their plates and did all this other stuff, and I wiped crumbs from the table. I wasn't too good to do it. And I ended up meeting a guy who just, through conversation, man, we ended up he became a mentor, and he really encouraged me during those times. Like, hey, keep your head up, greater is coming. You're going to make it through this. And of course I did. Because God is good, and we all have a 100% track record of making it through every bad day, although we seem to forget that. And these days, he's a client, actually. He's a friend, a mentor, and he's also a client of mine now at my web design agency. I was like, man, who would have thought? I was, cleaning tables and stuff. And now I have a company, that, is servicing this person as a client, and I could go on and on about all the many different people that I've met and opportunities that have been created from being in kind of low level situations,
Right.
Last thing, I remember there's a guy who runs a production company in New York City and has a recording studio. High level. I mean, works with everybody. He works with everybody in the music industry, entertainment. Like you know his clients. Excuse me. And I remember he invited me to come out and chat. And while we were supposed to be having our meeting, some other people came in. He was doing like a movie, you know what I'm saying? Like producing a movie.
Okay.
And these other people came in, and I found myself in a corner, right? Because I'm nobody, right? Like I'm Fenton Joseph. I own Olive Branch Digital, and I got a podcast, and school's over now, and so forth and so on. And my wife thinks I'm cute, and my mom thinks I'm the greatest thing on the planet. But in a room with these other people, I'm nobody, okay? I'm effectively nobody. So I'm in the corner, and I'm just listening, and I'm listening to big talk. He's talking big talk, movie talk, money talk. I was honored just to be in the room and allowed to be a fly on the wall, right? Like you take different paths in life, and you got to be willing and able to get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, again,
Right.
This goes back to ego. Like, I think some people think a little too highly of themselves, and in that situation would feel like, well, like if I'm not sitting at the front or if I'm not speaking, then you're just like, okay, what am I doing here? Like, sometimes you got to just kind of sit back and shut up, understand where you are in the pegging order, and just let God work out the rest. As it turns out, there was an opportunity for me to speak. I was asked to speak. I said, well, Fenton, such and such, he does, and then I had an opportunity to speak. And, when you're given the opportunity to shine, well, now you got to shine, right? But I'm saying sometimes, don't force it. Sometimes taking a different path and trying different things means that, you got to be patient. You got to wait a little bit for that opportunity.
Right.
But when it comes, you be ready to pounce. I was there in a meeting that had absolutely nothing to do with me. The dude was like, hey, like you should stay. I could have been like, no, I'm going to go home. This isn't really my bag, but I stayed. And it ended up being a cool situation. And, we were able to continue to develop that relationship. And now years later, this is probably like 3 years later,
Right.
because was my daughter born at the time? I don't think my daughter was even born at the time. She's going to be 4 this year. Now we have a type of relationship where, okay, now we could talk business, you know what I'm saying? And things like that. That's going on 4 years.
Right.
4 years of nurturing that relationship. But I got on the train. I forgot that part. It was late at night. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a convenient trip. I had to go to the city. But I tried. I said, yeah, let me just go and see what comes of it. I didn't even know how we could possibly work together. I just knew this was a person that I wanted to be around.
Right. Yeah, the energy. You felt the energy.
So as I'm sharing the story and everything, like it's starting to like gel, and it's shaping like a clear thought in my head that I can share with the listeners and watchers. Like sometimes you don't know what the end result is going to be. You just got to go with your gut, whatever you believe, you know what I'm saying? Like you believe in God or, like whatever, follow your gut. If it feels, I knew that this was a person that I wanted to be around, and I made it happen. It was like, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna get on that train and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna meet, and I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'll just say this, and this is very real. As recently as this year, as I was nurturing that relationship, trying to provide value, we still weren't sure of exactly what our working relationship would look like.
Okay.
We just both knew that we wanted to stay in touch and nurture the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because we know you're good people, good vibes. Sometimes trying different things is just staying in touch you know what I'm saying, with somebody and making sure that you keep that line of communication open, you know, because you don't know what's going to come out of it. You might meet somebody and just like, look, man, I don't know what we're going to do. Ken, I don't know. I like you and I don't know. We figured something out, but let's just keep in touch.
And that's it.
And that's
Simple.
it. That's trying something new. That's different because so many people have agendas and they just, you know, they have a very clear idea of how they're going to extract value out of a relationship and don't often think enough about how they can add value to a relationship,
Right.
or explore the different aspects and nuances of a relationship. You know, it's like if you can't get something out of somebody, people tend to just leave the stuff alone. And I don't know. I think that's very transactional, and I don't like to be that way. It takes a lot of time and effort because it means that you have to constantly be speaking to people and, you know, form a genuine connection. But isn't life more fulfilling that way with like people that you actually
I'd agree with that one.
want to talk to and be with, even if you can't get anything out of them? You snakes and leeches. All right, my friend.
Yeah.
That was my rant. Turn it over to you.
No, you know what though? It's a lot of good points. Again, going back to the topic of trying different paths in life and going through those bumpy roads, and how you were saying just now, you know, just staying in contact with someone because you don't know where those two paths are going to cross, where you can help each other or you can learn from one another. It's really true. It's something I need to do more myself. I do reach out to certain friends and family or just people I feel that I connect more with, that I've known throughout my life, just to make sure they're okay. Not to ask them for anything other than how are you, which does help also. That's just a different aspect of, you know, paths in life, keeping connections. How are you? What's going on? Can we bump ideas off each other? It does help maybe answer a question you have that someone else can answer. Just bouncing ideas off each other. You and I do it a lot, actually, way before this podcast,
Yes.
where we would just bounce ideas off each other. But maybe it helped answer a question or solved a puzzle that we had, you know, work related or family related.
Yeah.
So it is definitely something people need to do more of, not so much. See, I know that everyone in the new generation, everything's about text messages. It's quicker. You know, I have to talk on the phone. Right, but I'm sorry, yo, pick up the phone once in a while.
Yeah.
Go old school. Go old school. Pick a phone up. Have a real conversation with someone that you consider a close friend, close family member, whatever it may be, and have a real conversation with them, not a text message, a flyby, the day of, you know, how's it going? Yeah, good. Me too. How's the family? Great. Mine also. That's not real conversation.
It's a normal conversation, Ken. That's
nowadays. That's maybe normal to you. My wife,
get with it.
She says, like, you're so old. You always want to pick up the phone and talk to people. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? That will never leave me. I would rather hear your voice to make sure you're okay and bounce some ideas off each other. If everything's good to go, bounce some ideas off each other and maybe answer my own questions that I have. But it's something that you went through on your path already, through your journey. I'm not saying that answer is going to help or be on point for what I need. But like you mentioned earlier, you can take a piece of it.
Right.
Just take a piece of that answer. And maybe that's what you needed. And that's what was lost in your puzzle or along your path that will help you. And again, you can help others, right? So you call someone for advice, but you end up giving them advice.
Oh, yeah.
That happens as well a lot more often. Again, pick up that phone once in a while, though.
Pick up the
phone. Keep the connection. Just because you met someone 4 years ago doesn't mean that, look at you just said it. You met this gentleman 4 years ago, or when you were waiting tables, and then 4 years later is when that connection that stayed and resonated turned into, oh, well, let me help you and you can help me.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know. You know, I've heard All right, because I've been a bit cynical about like or judgmental about younger folks and their ability to hold a conversation, both initiate a conversation and to hold a conversation. And part of it comes from we're 40 something, so that's not really an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up talking to people on the phone, talking to people in person, looking people in the eyes, so forth and so on. There was none of this, looking down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, those are soft skills that most people in our generation that I know of, like, they're well equipped with. And I was skeptical about younger folks actually having issues having conversations, but it turns out it is true. It is a real thing. Younger people today do have difficulties holding conversations. I'm not sure if it's just lack of a framework, to formulate a conversation, or a lack of interest, or just like this weird inherent shyness because of technology, where they're just not able to focus, their attention outward. I'm not sure what it is. I'm an unlicensed therapist. But I did find out that is a real thing. My wife deals with a lot of younger people in her job, the research assistants and stuff that she hires. She says that, like, no, they do have their challenges. So my point is, get out of your comfort zone. And I know it sounds like very like dismissive, like, oh, like you don't have real challenges. I'm just saying I don't have a better answer. You know what I mean? Like maybe try to find people that you're comfortable with. I'm sure that even, teenagers and stuff, like, and people in their 20s, like they have some people that they're okay with speaking to on the phone or in person. You got to start with whatever you can and just kind of build momentum off of that. I was walking home and Congressman was on the street canvassing and stuff, Jamal Bowman. And I'm like, all right, hey, I stopped and talked to the guy, and there was a lady here. She's like the town supervisor or something, and I never met her, but we ended up kicking it and exchanging information. Now I'm on the Chamber of Commerce, in my town and stuff like that, because I'm an adult, and excuse me. And so I can have these conversations, but I'm an introvert and I don't really like to put myself out there and have these conversations, but practice makes perfect. And so I've practiced speaking to people. I was intentional about that. Like I said, 2019, I wanted to start meeting people. Not only did I grow in empathy, I grew in confidence to be able to hold a conversation. I mean, I've never had a difficulty holding a conversation, but I'm fairly shy. I'm not the person that's always going to initiate the conversation. Once you get me going, oh, well, I'm a riot. I'm lots of fun to talk to. We can go forever. If anything, be careful if you text me, because I might not stop texting you. I'm the type of person that, like, I like to talk and I like to have conversations. So we'll just keep going. I got a million things to talk about. And I ain't got no job. So, see, you're an entrepreneur. All your friends are at work. People are busy. So you find somebody who actually wants to talk to you, and, we can go all day. Anyway, my point is I had to learn how to initiate conversations, how to ask questions. I don't ask light questions. Like, I tend to ask people very, very probing questions.
So,
like, bro, I'm not gonna ask you. Like, I'm gonna be like, who hurt you, and how, and how are you seeing somebody about this? Are you going to therapy? Do you need a hug? What are your fears and dreams? I like to know people. I don't want to just, like, how's the sun? I can see what the weather is doing. I don't need to ask you how's the weather, but I practiced that, and I was very intentional about it. And now there's not too many things that I wouldn't ask somebody, because they're either going to answer the question or they're not. And they're either going to answer truthfully or they're not. I can't control that. What happens after I throw that pitch? I don't know. Whatever it goes across the mound, it's not on me. But I'm not afraid to do it. And that's a skill. That's something you have to practice. So practice.
Well, that's something you learned going through different, I guess, career paths, right?
Absolutely.
learn different skills. Again, we keep bringing it up. Just different paths in life. You really got to just try not to get, what's the word? Confined in your own mind.
Yeah.
Confined in your own space, confined in your own world, to think that what you're doing is the only thing that you should be doing. And the only way you're going to be able to get out of that confinement and out of that cell, right, is to break through and say, let me try different things. Let me meet new people. I can't believe there's going to be an audience that's listening to this that's never seen the ocean before. There's going to be an audience listening to this that has never left their town. There's people that have never seen the ocean or have never left their town.
What are you talking?
Never left their state. You know what I'm saying? Getting out and meeting new people and trying different things. There's people in America that have never left their own town, brother. Seriously.
Nah, but you're right. I'm laughing because it's crazy. You're actually right.
Crazy.
Some people that have never seen the ocean.
Never seen the ocean. I've never seen a big city. I've never whatever. There are people that are that confined in their own space, time, and brain that they decided, I'm going to stay in small town, whatever. I'm not going to start bringing up states here. And I've never decided to leave or change or open my brain or try something new. I'm just going to go with the last 3 or 4 generations of my family and
you're slowly
do whatever it is.
disintegrating. Your picture is like you're like going into the ocean, like you're going underwater as you're talking about the ocean.
No, someone snapped their finger just now with the stones.
Oh, snap. No pun intended. All right. Well, I can hear you, so it's just a little fuzzy, but that's cool. First of all, go book a flight and go to the ocean if you've never been to the ocean. I need everybody in Ohio to get on a plane.
See, I was trying to stay out of
LA or New York,
whatever.
Something. Go see the ocean. That's mind-boggling. But I am so glad that you brought that point up because it shows like perspective. We're from Long Island. We're surrounded by water. So you see the ocean all the time. I live in Westchester. I'm very close to the water. I know you're close to the water. So that's mind-boggling. But to somebody who's landlocked, it's like, there's no ocean around here. Change your perspective. All right, so I'll ask this last question. What has been the most, I don't know if you want, interesting, impactful, noteworthy path that you've taken in your life and why?
The most interesting path I've taken in life, deciding to become a parent and saying, and it sounds like cliche, I guess, but when you're a parent, not that's my kid. That's, I'm saying I'm their father. That's my child. I'm helping shape this mind, this brain, and hopefully I'm doing it right because I don't care what book is written. No one really knows until you have your own. I would say that would be my most noteworthy because it's scary. You're hoping you're doing something right. You're hoping what you say to them, what you're feeding them, because that's what they are. Children are sponges, and hopefully they're looking up to you as a role model. Not every child looks at, a musician or an actor as their role model. Sometimes it's their parents.
Right.
Like my parents are role models in my life. But it's tough. You want to make sure that you're not going to mess them up too much. I'm not going to say not at all, but I'm sorry. I don't care what parent you are. You're going to screw them up just a little bit. You're going to mess them up a little bit. And you just hope you're not doing it too much. You hope that you're just teaching them the right things. My 7-year-old, when he was 4, knew to say, God bless you and thank you and you're welcome. And I'm proud of that. You want to hope that you're teaching them life lessons that they can use, and simple things like how to change a tire or how to ride a bike. I don't know. The two older ones, I definitely we failed on the two older ones. They're scooter kids. But my 7-year-old rides a bike. Again, different things, but that would be my one journey that I'm still on, that you never stop being on, because they're always going to be your babies.
Yeah.
As I learned as I had my own. I would say that'd be it.
That's beautiful. And I would have to agree. Like in my mind, I want to say marriage because, for me, marriage and then kids, and that was the order for us. The thing is, I'm often concerned about my wife and her safety. But, once she's at where she's at, she's at work. I know she's okay. She made it there safe. I'm like, hey, just text me. Let me know that you made it safely. Okay, cool. I know you're good. My child, I think about all the time. Like, my child is at camp right now, and I'm like, I want to just drive over there. I'm always concerned about her and what's going on with her. And there's a whole other level of protectiveness. I'm very protective of my wife, 100%. Like, I'd kill somebody for my wife, but it's not always at like the front of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kid is always at the front of my mind,
right,
when it comes to that protectiveness. And I would say I would have to agree. Marriage has 100% changed me for the better. Like, I'm just a better person. I'm a more patient person. I'm a nicer person. I would say I'm more generous. I share more. Wasn't really into sharing my food before we got married, but now, I kind of have to.
What's on your plate?
I share more food with my wife than I do with my kid. With my kid, I'm like, get your own. I make sure she has her own, but I'm like, you got your own. Leave me alone. Anyway, I'm gonna say both. They've been really impactful in my life, and I'm a better person because of it. And everybody needs to figure out for themselves, look at every path that you take, look at every journey for what it is, appreciate it, learn what you can from it. Some of them are gonna, they're gonna be just a part of your past. Not every experience is gonna end up in your present, or make it to your future. But cherish it for what it is, because there isn't anything that I would change about my life, the good or the bad. There's some paths that I've taken that I don't want to talk about, and I don't want to remember, but I'm glad in the aggregate that they happened and that I took those paths, because they made me who I am today, and I'm very grateful for that. So hopefully y'all got something out of this conversation. And if you didn't, then you need to go try a new path. I'm not saying listen to a new podcast and don't listen to this one anymore. Please subscribe, like, share, and we'll do our best to bring you wisdom and conversations that you can take on your path with you.
Right. Yes.
All right.
Well said, Fenton. Well said.
Well, it's what the teleprompter said. I don't know who writes this stuff.
I got some poster board with a messed up felt Sharpie.
No, that's the path we're on right now, man.
It's all right though.
All right. Enjoy the day,
sir.
Bye.